In college, actually, it's funny because when I learned a bunch of this stuff in college, you've met me. I'm kind of a bubbly personality. I tend to try to.
Bubble.
I bubble,
yeah,
right?
You bubble.
I tend to try
Effervescent.
to make. I'm definitely.
Yes, I know.
Sparkly.
Yes.
Not that kind of sparkly. Not like the vampires in Twilight.
Oh.
But
well, how do we know? We've never actually seen you in daylight, have we?
You have actually.
I have. Okay,
They haven't.
All right. Scratch that, folks. That's the skeptical side of me. You haven't seen him in daylight. You don't know if
you don't know.
You don't know.
You
may
don't
sparkle.
know. Maybe I do.
Yes.
Maybe I'm just wearing concealer right now to hide my sparkles.
Hello, Rob.
How do you do that, Rob? And why is your jack-o'-lantern backwards?
I don't know. He's looking at you, my precious. Hello.
Jack.
I can
Rob.
actually look through the back of Jack. I'm seeing through the back of Jack.
That is the back of Jack.
How cool is that?
That is pretty cool. It's funny because he's actually our tree topper for our Halloween tree.
Yeah, I got to say, this is prescient. This is really eerie because this is like my brain before coffee. This whole thing here.
This is my brain after coffee. This is
just
Edgar. Edgar, say hi to Rob.
Hello. Hello. Say hello to Precious.
Say hi, Edgar. Hello.
Hello, Edgar.
Edgar. I'm hanging out back there. Edgar shared. He scared our last guest when Natalia was on. Edgar just decided to move out of the blue.
Ooh. Move out of the blue.
He did. He just kind of moved on his own. Just kind of lost his grip on reality and slipped.
Let the poetry begin.
And grip and slip.
Yes.
Jack and back.
Jack and back.
Hey everybody, welcome to almost at Local Haunts. Welcome to the Spook Chat, episode 4.
Oh wow.
Yeah, like I said, almost at Local Haunts, as most of you know if you watch the other shows. Bye, Jack. We'll see you later.
Oh, Jack's coming back.
Jack is coming back. You only rhymed that once. You have to find a different rhyme for Jack.
I know.
The Jack attack.
Jack attack. Yes.
Or give some flack to Jack.
Yeah. I like that one.
Yeah.
As you guys, if Jack is hungry, then Jack snack.
Ooh, I like that actually, a Jack snack, because you can actually eat the pumpkin.
I know. Let's have a Jack snack.
Yeah.
I don't know. Out of context, it does
tasty.
sound a little bad.
Yeah, I suppose. Out of context, Jack's a snack. Yeah, although he's a pumpkin, so pumpkin pie is tasty.
He is a pumpkin.
So Jack can tasty.
Yeah.
As you guys know, and I'm sure are familiar with our banter at this point, my co-host today is Mr. Robert Repass, my friend, my skeptic, my co-host on Local Haunts.
Hello.
He's here. Hello, my friend. Cheers.
Hello. Cheers. So
welcome
hey,
to the show.
I got a question for you. Maybe just to kind of kick this off, let's just do an associative exercise here.
Okay.
So I'm going to throw out like a phrase, and I want you to tell me the first thing that comes to your mind.
Sounds fun. Okay. What you got?
I know a guy like that.
I do. That's Rob.
That there is life after death and life before death. So I've never been one of those people who is a skeptic and needs to be convinced and needs proof.
I know a guy like that.
It's
yeah, let's talk about that. Let's talk about. I know a guy like that.
You know, it's funny. I just
hello. I'm the guy like that.
Yeah, but they know that because they've seen the other shows. Yeah, although
I know.
In context, it makes sense. In context, we were talking about people who are skeptic who don't believe in ghosts. Is that not you? Are you not a guy like that?
Well, all right. Yeah, I am that guy. Okay, but. However, what I'm going to say is, okay, wait a minute.
Yeah.
You can point to Jack.
Yeah, Jack.
All right. Jack is back, folks. You're going to hear that a lot.
The Jack snack.
Yeah, the Jack snack. He's yes. Off having some pumpkin seeds, which seems very meta. It seems like a meta snack for a pumpkin.
Isn't that cannibalism?
Well, the seeds, it's just sort of like people eat their fingernails. Does that
People shouldn't eat their fingernails.
No, but, it's better than the toenail, right?
I'm not sure if it's much better because, my major fear with eating your fingernail, like chewing your nails is one thing, but you spit those out if you're going to do it. But eating a fingernail, isn't that like bad for your intestines? Like, because they're sharp.
Well, it's actually worse for your teeth because when you kind of chew your fingernails, you can chip your teeth. Yeah. So,
Okay.
So when you see people with those teeth, they're not necessarily cannibals eating the bone. It's probably their fingernails.
So the people that chew their nails are not cannibals. 10-4.
Yeah.
Got it. Noted.
Now, okay.
So
where the heck are we?
you were saying that you are that guy, but you're not that guy.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So I have this problem with the label skeptic. Because it sounds like to me, like a skeptic is like, I don't believe anything, right? It's just sort of like, I could see like,
No.
like say we run into each other, like we sometimes do. And I say, hey, Rob, what's up? And he said, oh, God, I had a long day and I'm tired. And if I were a skeptic, I would say, are you really tired? You seem to be standing up. And how long is your day? Because a day is only 24 hours long.
Sure.
Did you go back in time? Explain this to me.
Maybe I did.
I believe the Earth is round, even though,
Sure.
I haven't gone completely around the Earth.
Well, there's,
I believe that when I look outside and I'm seeing the sun moving, it's really the Earth moving around the sun. So I believe those things.
All right.
I'm skeptical.
Okay.
But I don't want to be labeled a skeptic, meaning that I don't believe anything. It's sort of like if you're walking from our favorite coffee place, Apollo Coffee or Adama Coffee. And I'll let everyone kind of fill in the blanks there. And you say, oh man, I really need this coffee. And I say, do you really need that coffee? Or is that really coffee? I don't know if that's coffee in your cup.
It is
I
today.
can play the skeptic all day
today.
if you want. So, all right.
No. I think in context, and on the show I referred to you as the skeptic.
The skeptic.
Well, I mean, I think
I'm skeptical.
Paranormal investigators need that buddy that kind of keeps them grounded, right? Like I told you just recently, I appreciate Rob being part of the team and being my partner because I'm a big baby. So if I walk into a place that I am hardcore in belief that it's haunted, I'll be like, no, we've been here long enough. 10 minutes later, and we'll walk out. You being the person who just like, ghosts aren't real. Yeah, you're like, let's go. Let's just storm the path. Let's get in there. I'll be like, but okay, and I'll follow you in, right? Like the episode that we're airing next week, our local haunts episode, the Hornet. Remember the night in the Hornet when like I could have sworn I heard footsteps, and you walked towards them while I'm like, I'm gonna go this way. Like, why are you going that way?
Yeah.
So I need you. Like, skeptic is not necessarily a bad thing. You're skeptical in the nature of paranormal belief. But that is way more of a mouthful to say, Rob is skeptical when it comes to these things. And I'll like throw a list on the screen.
I know.
But thank you for believing the world is round because it is.
Yes, it is round. Folks, trust us.
Spherical even.
Yeah, spherically round. But, I'm doing this because you're my friend, and
Thank you.
And congratulations on all of this. I think this is an amazing undertaking. I think you woke up one day and said, all right, I'm doing it, and then boom, you did it. So persistence and fortitude, folks.
Still doing it.
Hit that like button.
Yes,
hit
please
that subscribe button.
Subscribe. So we're filming this show on the sad
Does
day.
anyone want Jack?
Let's take a moment of silence
right.
for Jason David Frank, who sadly passed away today. One of my childhood heroes. So that's your timestamp, folks, for like the day this was filmed.
Yeah, I was never into the Power Rangers. It was a little bit before my time. I did see a couple of episodes with my son when he was younger, and it looked like a fun show. And that's really sad. Always when someone feels that they have to take their life, and I would just say
It's tragic.
my heart goes out to not only the fans but also his family. And then with anything, because people are going to see this hopefully, and people are going to kind of respond to it, and everyone is at a particular stage of their like psyche where if you feel depressed or anything, or even entertain thoughts like this, go get help.
Yeah,
I mean,
reach out to somebody.
It's really important. I think more people than you know have been there, and it's kind of like a wave. It will come over you. If you can deal with it or find help, it will pass. And that,
the demons are liars. Don't listen to them. That's what it comes down to. Like, I understand. I empathize. It's sometimes you feel like, sadly, like I'm sure Jason David Frank felt that life's just not worth living. What's the point, right? What's the point of it all? And in a world where like you feel maybe isolated, right? There's a lot going on. You might feel invisible. You might feel alone. Even like when you're not alone, it's easy to feel alone.
Yeah.
Even when you're not lonesome.
Yes.
I get it. I understand. But I feel like the fight is worth fighting. So kind of keep on going on. If you're feeling any of the feelings that would lead you down a path to check out early, like Rob said, do call somebody. Just, give yourself that chance to be reminded that you're welcome here. Don't step out on us. Stay with us. So, cheers to that. Cheers to Jason David Frank. Moment of silence. It's funny because when I was a kid, I was a big fan. It weirds me out that this guy was only 7 years older than I am. Like he's 49. He was 49. I'm 42 today. So it's weird to like idolize a guy that's only 7 years older than you. But yeah, I don't know. I watched the shows as a kid. I could never get Max to watch them. He was really into it, but I was really into it. Like I was part of the fan club. I had all the action figures.
Okay, all right.
Whenever they did like the live events, I would try to go to them, and my parents were like, "We don't have the money for that." So I would try to like sell my stuff to raise the money for it, just so I can go. It was one of those things. I mean, you're a kid. Like you get really like. I mean, obviously, like you said, I'm very impulsive.
Right. Well, I mean, it's sort of like it's our cultural anchors, right? It's those things that kind of make the world make sense to us outside of our families, right?
Yes.
I mean, for me, well, and this is one of the things I wanted to talk about. I mean, a little bit is like why the heck we're doing this, right? And not only is it because it's kind of entertaining and it's fun and it's something new. It's something new to me, right? Kind of listening to what you've been doing to set this all up, and then all the shows. I think it's been rather fascinating, and it's great to be a part of it. But I think all of this kind of harkens back to our mutual love of horror.
Indeed, it does.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I wanted to ask you. It's just sort of like, I think it's a good segue from what you were saying to where we're going now. It's just sort of like, or the questions that I have. It's just sort of like the people who watch channels like these, and Rob, and we both love horror. I wanted to ask you, so what got you into it? What was the spark that that sent you down kind of the horror path, as opposed down, let's just say, like being
something
fascinated
else,
with
like accounting.
Yeah, accounting. Yes, I was going to say history, but history's cool. I like history, and that ties in a lot.
I'm really
with
bad
this.
at math.
But accounting, yeah.
I'm really bad at math.
Why
So
not?
I'm not
Okay.
accounting. Yeah.
Are you
my
bad at math?
I'm horrible at math. My son is
Why?
amazing at math. I'm so proud of him. I do better with graphics than I do numbers.
Well,
So that's not my jam.
yeah. Well, math is a product of a grave social disturbance. And
How so?
in the force, yes. I
admire my son so much.
Yeah. Math is interesting. One of my favorite jokes is just sort of like everyone, all the sciences pray to the physicists. The physicists pray to the mathematicians. So
Who do the mathematicians pray to?
they pray to themselves, because there's nothing above a mathematician.
Math is God.
Yeah, math is God.
All right, so your question, what got me into horror? Oddly enough, something I shouldn't have been doing, which seems indicative of my life. So when I was much younger, my parents were divorced when I was 4. And then a couple years later, my mother was dating a guy named Jerry at the time. And when Mom had time with us, God rest her soul, miss my mom, we were all staying in a motel room together. And on the TV was the original Nightmare on Elm Street. And instead of sleeping, I watched Nightmare on Elm Street.
Wow. Okay.
So I was probably like in the ballpark. I don't want to like quote it, but like somewhere around 6 years old, 7 years old. It's my first horror movie. But then also growing up, like we had Unsolved Mysteries. That score alone, right? The used to creep me out. Robert Stack. And then I lived on the East Coast. We had phenomenal Halloweens. Like on the East Coast, every house was decked out for Halloween. The lights were up, the webs were up. This is before like Halloween was as big as it is now. Like it's like Christmas 2 these days, which I love, obviously.
I will +1 that.
Yeah, I love it. I love that Halloween is on par with Christmas these days. We deserve it. Halloween folks deserve it. So basically, it started from there, right? I realized that watching Freddy Krueger slaughter preteens or teenagers didn't frighten me as much as it should have. And then from that point on, my friends and I used to have like parties and hangouts where we used to like stay up to like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning just watching horror movies. And in college, actually it's funny because when I learned a bunch of this stuff in college, you've met me. I'm kind of a bubbly personality. I tend to like try to
bubble.
I bubble,
Yeah,
right?
you bubble.
I tend to try
Effervescent.
to make. I'm definitely.
Yes, I know.
Sparkly.
Yes.
Not that kind of sparkly. Not like the vampires in Twilight.
Oh.
But
Well, how do we know? We've never actually seen you in daylight, have we?
you have actually.
I have. Okay,
They haven't.
All right. Scratch that, folks. That's the skeptical side of me. You haven't seen him in daylight. You don't know if he's...
You don't know.
You don't know. He
You
may
don't
sparkle.
know. Maybe I do.
Yes.
Maybe I'm just wearing concealer right now to hide my sparkles. So in college, my teacher, I can't call her professor because I don't think she was a professor. We were tasked with making a bunch of like little short films, right? All of mine were very dark.
Good.
She goes, "Why aren't these funny?" I'm like, I just don't do that. I don't know how to make a funny thing. Like, I like making people laugh, but as I remind people on many occasions, my humor is reactionary. I react to people and then find the funny in the fun, like in the dark, right? Find the funny in the moment. But like sparking comedy, that's just not my jam. I don't know how to just make things funny. But
So
darkness
okay.
I can do.
All right. Okay, great. But what was it about? So you say Freddy Krueger, Nightmare on Elm Street, is the thing that kind of was the hook.
Yes.
So what about Nightmare on Elm Street hooked you in?
God,
What
man,
was
Wes
where
Craven's
did
a
that light bulb
master.
go on or go off? Actually,
That's that's nice. Wes Craven's the master of his art. At least he was before he passed away. But just
actually, I don't want you to analyze the movie. I mean, there's like a core horror elicits. People think of horror as a genre,
Yeah.
but really it's an emotion, right?
Sure.
It's, more so than a genre.
well,
So what was it
so-
about that? What was at the core?
the original logo for the Spook and Hollow, the words "Life is more fun with a good scare" was underneath it. That's what I truly believe. I think a good scare goes a long way. It makes you feel alive. It makes you feel present. When I actually do get startled and I do get scared, you feel more alive afterwards, right? You get that bubbling energy. I like the way that fear and horror makes you feel alive.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, that heart pounding,
Yes.
kind of that feeling in your neck,
Yeah.
like your arteries are going to go, and
Yeah.
that kind of intense hyper awareness of the moment.
And then that release afterwards, right? That rush of endorphins after the tension breaks.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
It's such a great thing.
I don't know if we could mention competitor channels here, but on the Daily Show, Trevor had Jordan Peele. You like how I kind of put us in competition with the Daily Show there, folks?
Jordan Peele's awesome. Man.
Yeah, and he was talking, and the question, and this has been on my mind, is like, how do you get someone who is just so amazing at sketch comedy?
Yeah.
How do they go from that into horror? And he
I
said,
think they go hand in hand.
well. He said he still finds it all funny.
Yeah.
And really the only difference is the music. There was one thing that Trevor did mention, which is true, right? It's just sort of like remembering the scene Get Out, where that character is running directly at the protagonist.
Yes.
And you know, swap in some kind of cartoon music for that, and then you get a completely different feel.
I do think that horror and comedy share a lot of similar threads. And I do think some of the best horrors are also funny. So, like Tucker and Dale vs. Evil, one of my favorite movies.
Yeah.
Army of Darkness.
Yeah, Evil Dead 2. Yes.
Okay, so we're going to pause there for a second and we'll talk about episodes. Then we'll chat some more in the after show for our patrons.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah?
All right. I did bring sunglasses for the after show.
Oh, so like...
Is that? Yes.
Okay.
Yes. It's, Spook Chat at night.
Spook Chat after
But-
that's an ongoing joke.
I
Actually,
know.
the After Dark, the Spook Chat After Dark is an ongoing joke.
So I got to ask you a question.
Sure. Yeah.
Love,
what's up?
love the logo. Love this logo.
Great.
Awesome. Love
Awesome.
this. But why an apple?
It's a pumpkin. Yeah, that's the second time I've gotten that.
Folks,
It's a
you
pumpkin.
decide.
Yeah. See, like the neck up there. It
Okay.
looks like Jack a bit. That's. I mean, maybe I can pronounce it a little more down there. We're early yet in our logo design, so
Okay.
It is. It is only month one, month
All
two,
right.
month two.
All
It's a
right,
pumpkin.
okay,
It's actually the
all
same
right.
pumpkin. It's the same pumpkin in the picture, right? It's that exact same pumpkin. Actually, it's not. I changed it, huh?
Yep.
Oh, no, I didn't. It's the same. It's just it's not as pronounced.
Are you sure you changed it?
Yeah, because you see there's a little bump right there, little bump right there on the pumpkin. I just pulled the face out and I put the letters in. I think because it's inside of a circle, it feels more rounded.
Okay.
But
Well, Jackie, what do you think?
I think Jackie looks just like my guy here, right? He's a little more flat on the bottom.
No, folks.
I don't know.
I'm skeptical.
It's funny because it's like Sarah, our mistress of the macabre and sometime host of this show. She said the same thing. Why an apple? I'm like, it's not an apple. It's a pumpkin. It's a pumpkin.
It's
and
a pumpkin.
Maybe we'll have
Okay,
to.
All right.
You know what? We're in month 2. Logos will change. All of our stuff's print on demand, so I can go into my computer as soon as we're done here and go change a logo if I desire.
No,
real
it's
fast.
cool.
I'm just saying, like,
yeah.
it's early yet. Like, if I need to, these shoes are also from our print on demand store. But yeah, no, it's not an apple.
All right. Well, I know you want to talk. I know you want to talk about the episodes, but I think this is. I find kind of conversations about horror in general fascinating.
Well, let me ask you. That's the same question. We'll throw it back at you before we cut over to
Oh,
our discussion.
really? Now?
Yeah, yeah.
Is that how we're
keep-
going to play this?
We'll keep the topic in place. So before we jump over to the after show and before we get into our smattering of comments, so my intro to horror. Why horror for you? What was your first I love horror moment?
Well, it was several different things. I really loved. I always had a fascination with the unknown, and for as long as I can remember, I remember very young moving from an apartment to our first house in Ohio, and the only thing that I remember is like looking for secret passages.
Nice.
I really wanted to find secret passages. It was a big house. It was much bigger than the apartment. I was really young, maybe like 2, 3 years old, something like that. It's a long time ago. It's sort of like I remember. I always gravitated to the horror toys, like the old Universal, like Frankenstein,
Nice. Yeah.
and the Wolfman and the Mummy. And I remember seeing Frankenstein the movie, and I remember like sleepovers at friends' houses, and we would watch Creature Feature, which was a local television late night horror extravaganza on Friday and Saturday.
Nice.
You would have an announcer, very similar to like Elvira, but not Elvira, and they would introduce the show, and it would be some cheesy movie, right? Some really, but sometimes a really cool movie like Dracula. I remember they had Dracula. But in, I think, 5th or 6th grade, and I think I brought this to the Hornet, which we'll talk about. I remember going through Scholastic magazine, and they still have these today, because I know that Max, you and my son would frequently come home with these, like in elementary school and middle school, and then kind of flip through and you can buy books.
Yep.
And they had this one called Strangely Enough, and it's very similar to like Tales You Tell in the Dark, right? Those series, like little short vignettes, not a lot of structure, no beginning, middle, or end, or character development.
Totally.
But it was the situations,
Yep.
and I think that brought me in, and that fascination has stayed with me, and that love of horror has stayed with me ever since.
There are a lot of inspirations and a lot of the things you mentioned that went on to build Tales of the Macabre.
Yeah.
right? The Elvira, the creature feature, the introduction of like a host introducing like a little quick horror, right? A lot of feedback I get on the horror episodes, the Tales of the Macabre so far, is that they're too short. I'm like, well, they're kind of designed to be short. Like they're designed to be in and out, right? Which is why I think the scary stories that tell in the dark, they were always so quick. They were in, they were out. You were in, you were out, right?
Yeah.
They're designed like that. They're supposed to be. Maybe in the future, when we get into like other seasons, we'll do like a long form horror.
Yeah.
But yeah, Tales is designed a lot like that. But anyway, so I could bring up my phone, but I have most of them memorized. Max's friend Camden, and again, I grew up with Camden, so he's like a kid to me. He's like a kid to me in a sense.
He's still a
he's
kid.
He's like a son to me because we all grew up together, right? Like he's a son to me. I've seen Camden grow up. Ken's like, dude, the guy who worked the clapper did a great job. And that's totally true. Camden worked the clapper that day. He was my clap assistant.
Oh, good.
And I'm not even going to lie, like having Camden around for that was super helpful because when I got home, on the horror shorts, because we filmed them basically in 1 or 2 days, I tend to like try to like just get the shots. I know what the shots are in my head. I know what I need. I have a shot list, but I don't stop and make the clapper a thing because like I know the shots were good. But then later on, when I am trying to organize those shots, I'm like, oh, what shot is this? I have to like go like, okay, that was this shot. Then like match up. Camden was hardcore in keeping me on track with the clacker. It made organizing that short so easy.
That's great. So,
So
did he actually clap?
he did. He really took a lot of joy in it too.
All right. You know why they actually have that clap?
Do you know why?
I do, of course.
Okay, cool. I know why.
Yeah, well, since I asked the question and since you're throwing it back to me, I'll answer it.
Yeah. Go ahead, answer the question for all those who don't know why.
So, in traditional filmmaking, you have a camera that captures just the visual, and then you have audio recording equipment that captures the audio. So you want to sync those two items up, and there is nothing better than just a very discrete, sharp, short sound like a clap to allow an editor to go in and kind of match up the audio and the film.
And in modern day, it's the same situation. When you're looking at a Premiere file, wherever the clacker comes, and you see a very sharp peak, which is where your cut is, right? That's your cut. So if you're streaming your scenes together, I mean, presumably, if like you just go, record, stop, you don't need a clacker, right? Because your pieces are broken up. You just need to know what the shots are, so later when you're organizing.
Yeah.
But if you have like a one long file that you're going to import later, and you import that, and you see the spikes in the audio track, you know where your cuts are.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. People actually like, does that serve a purpose? I'm like, it really does.
It does serve a purpose.
Which is why I bought it. I didn't just buy it for fun.
And it would also be kind of silly to have a clapper if they're not clapping.
That's true. He just held it up. What other comments we have? Camden made me laugh. Camden comments on our videos quite often. He also said of our new episode of Don't Get Spooked, it gets spookier every time, which is very sweet because I highly doubt that Camden watches those full episodes. That's funny because I try not to check it, but the YouTube analytics depress me on the daily because they show you like what the average view time is of every episode, and like on the Don't Get Spooked episodes, which makes me sad, like the average view time is like 5 minutes. People are in for 5 minutes and they're out. Not everybody, not all people. The average view time is like 5 minutes and they're out.
Well, actually, I don't find that sad at all, right? It's just sort of like there's a lot of content out on YouTube.
Yeah, that's true.
People are you're talking about exposure and continued exposure, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like bands, right?
Sure.
Some people will listen to a song off of a band's first album. Then their second album comes out. So yeah, I remember it. I'll go check it out. And then they get a little bit more inculcated and aligned with that. So,
yeah.
So you're building an audience, and
Right.
it really is building, right?
Yeah, it's going to take time, and it's going to keep on telling myself that. You and I talked about this last night.
Let the healing begin.
I get very sensitive sometimes because I work really hard, right? Like even like all of this, and again, I'm not trying to float my own boat. I'm just being completely honest about this. You help film, like you help like be on set and you're co-host and Heath is there and Sarah's there and the kids are there. Everyone has pitched and helped out so much to create the content, right? We all come together to create the content. Mm-hmm. But once we get home, everything falls on my shoulders, right? So like I'm cutting this all together, cutting this. I mean, finally, thankfully, I'm starting to send stuff out to editors because I can't do it all, but still a lot of it falls on my shoulders. So getting it out, uploading it, and then Patreon, then the YouTube, like it's a lot. So you're doing all this work and 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 all this work. It's very easy to get kind of precious and sensitive about it. So like, start thinking to yourself like, what's the point? But there's a huge point to it. Like I told you, like we already have 90 subscribers.
90, not 9.
Oh, we have 90. Yeah, no,
yes.
90, which is huge because we've only had our page. Basically, we've only been putting content out the last 6 weeks, and we have 90 subscribers, and I think that's huge. That's good, right?
Yeah, that's
we've
great.
90 people in about 6 weeks. I think it's great too. Mm-hmm. I'm just super impatient at times.
Well, I think there's a balance here too, and I actually think it's to the collective benefit of the channel that you don't have that many subscribers, or you don't have thousands of subscribers.
Like right away.
Right away, because I mean, you're still getting the collective sea legs underneath us.
That's true. We are growing and evolving. That's very true. We pointed that out. We talked about that a little bit before the show today. So we're going to check out here on our normal show. Thanks for being here, YouTube people, all 90 of you. Thank you for watching and hanging out. This has actually been a lot of fun. Rod is a great host on both shows. Thanks for being here.
Absolutely.
We're going to...
I'll come back anytime.
He'll come back in about 5 minutes, actually.
Good. I'm glad. Well, 5 minutes. Well,
You said anytime. You're now required to be here in 5 minutes.
Okay.
For those who are not yet patrons, we only have 2 patrons. The after shows are a lot of fun. So if you enjoyed this chat and you thought it was engaging and fun and interesting, come join us on Patreon. It's only $5 a month. I mean, I'll buy you a cup of coffee. Actually, I won't, because that's a lot to promise. But $5 a month. Buy me a cup of coffee.
He'll buy a cup of coffee with the $5, and he'll just you'll dedicate that coffee.
I will dedicate. That's a good idea. Yeah. Buy me a cup of coffee every month, and I'll dedicate that coffee to you on camera.
Yeah, and here's a challenge. Okay.
Yes.
For everyone let's give it 30 days. Anyone who subscribes to the Patreon channel in the next 30 days, Rob will drink that many cups of coffee in one sitting.
Okay. Sure. I mean, I'll try. I'll do my best. Who's on coffee duty though? Like actual coffee though, right?
Yeah, just coffee.
Yeah, I mean, I might have to decrease the size of the coffee cup. This is a 15-ouncer.
No. Well, I think I think it has to be a proper cup
I can order a proper. I mean, they'll probably be all black. I'll have to pee and stop a lot, but yeah, we could probably do that. I might die from caffeination.
You'll never walk alone.
You'll help me out, you say?
No. I'll
be walking alone.
I will have 1 cup of coffee, or 2 maybe, or 3. I drink a lot of coffee, but I'll be here to support you.
How about ounces?
As we kind of tie you down with the coffee funnel into your mouth.
That sounds like a Clockwork Orange. Yes. That's torturous. Well, thank you all for being here. We'll see you all next time. Announcements, not many announcements. So Christmas is coming. We have Christmas episodes. We announced that last time.
Yes.
We have Christmas horror and Christmas fun coming up. And that's it. So stay tuned. And
can I throw one?
Yeah, please.
One
no, dude.
Yeah, I've had a lot of fun. So thank you for inviting me on. Please invite me back onto the show.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I'd love to do some more. But if there's any, because we're talking not only about the channel, but we're about horror in general.
Yeah.
So if there's anything that you want us to talk about, take on, please drop those in the comments as well.
Yeah, all comments.
This is a community, and we want to kind of...
please, yes. The more comments we have, the more we can talk back to you. We welcome it. So please, absolutely, let us know what your horror jump on was. What was your favorite part of this episode? Even if you just want to, Kevin Conroy, too. A moment of silence for Kevin Conroy, who also passed away. The voice of Batman passed away.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he also passed away. Cancer killed him.
Oh, no, that's...
So a moment of silence for Kevin Conroy as well.
Okay.
To Kevin Conroy.
To Kevin. And the one other thing, too, is that if you're really into horror, let us know what got you into it.
Yeah, please.
Love to hear.
And we'll chat about it.
I'd love to hear what was the gateway.
And the same rules apply. If you guys watch the episode, we want to hear from you. We want to know how our shows can be better, right? Don't just write it's crap, because I'll take that offensively, but let us know what we can do to make it better. What would you like on the Don't Get Spooked? Let us know what prompts you think would be kind of funny, how we can make that show better in your eyes. We want to hear from you, so please, do give us as much feedback as possible so we can help grow these shows to be more engaging for you, the audience. And since you're our first 90 people here, you'll be a part of growing that. So yeah, let us know. And on that note, we cue the music. We'll see you guys next time. Thanks for hanging out. I hope you had a good holiday, and welcome to the Christmas season. And that's it for now.
Jack
Bye,
says
everybody.
bye.